In today's video, we're going to be swapping this motor out of this Vortech 3.7 straight 5-cylinder motor. Probably one of the worst motors GM has ever built. But we're going to show you step by step on how to remove this motor. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe to my channel. These videos do take some time. So it's greatly appreciated if you find this video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below, and I will get back to you if I can help you in any way, shape, or form. So thanks for watching. Here we go. So the very first thing on any big job like this, you want to disconnect the battery. Just some 10mm nuts on top. Just disconnect the battery like so. Just going to remove the air cleaner box. Disconnect that hose. Just push the two tabs in with your finger and that pops right out. And then clip your mass airflow sensor, just push the tab in right there and pull that out of the way. And take this 10mm bolt off. And loosen the 8mm hose clamp right here on the intake boot. There's also a 10mm bolt right here holding it on. So there's 2 bolts in total. Now that you have those 2 bolts loose and the intake boot loose, just get a screwdriver, pry it off, up and out like so. Then you're going to undo the clips on the airbox cleaner lid, and the whole thing will come up and out. Next step, we're going to remove the upper radiator hose. I had to use a hose pick to get that baby off of there, and they're pretty tough. Next, we're going to take the upper part of the radiator shroud out. I'll just take a screwdriver and just pry these little clips off. A total of them on 4 on each side. I'm not going to show me taking the other side off, but I'm going to hurry and go take those off. Next, I'm going to take this clip off for the breather hose here. Set that to the side. And we're also going to take the coolant hose off for the overflow reservoir and tuck that to the side. You need to disconnect this. Hold down for the AC line. Once you have all that out, you should be able to take the shroud out. This one already, that tab and that tab are broken, so this one's gonna kind of slide out different. You're gonna want to be really careful though when you do it if your tabs aren't broken, due to the fact that the plastic is pretty brittle. But it looks like someone's already had this shroud out before. So once you get that slid, you just hold the AC line out of the way and pull it out. Next, you want to take the fan clutch off. It's a 36 millimeter, and if you don't have an air gun and if set up like this, there is videos on YouTube on how to get these off. So if it broke that loose, you can just spin the fan clutch off. So, and the other half of the radiator shroud comes with it. So you'll be pulling the lower part of the shroud and the fan out at the same time. Next, you're going to take this 10 millimeter bolt off this AC line where it holds onto this bracket. So next we're going to take these two sensors off. The one on the throttle body here. To pry these plastic white connectors up and out with a mini screwdriver, and just push the tab. Sorry, it's hard to see. We're going to push that tab in. Sometimes it's easier to put a screwdriver on the back side of it and pull that one out. Do the same here. This one, someone's already broken the safety connector, so you can just pull it out. Next, you're going to take this line off. You just push the bottom of that white connector and it slides right on out. Next, you're going to want to go through and unplug all 5 coils. Just get a little pocket screwdriver, work the safety clip up, and just push down with the tab and they pull out. I'm going to do this on the rest of the 5. Next, we're going to take this clip off. Same thing, just get a small screwdriver. It's just like the plugs for the coils. Put a screwdriver in there, pry it up and pull it out. And there's these 2 plugs on the back here. You need to do the same thing. They have the same white safety clips. Work those loose. Push down on the tab. hole right on it. Then you need to pull the plug for the O2 sensor. They have these little tabs, you just pull them out and you pull up on that with 2 fingers. They just unplug like so. Next you're going to take this hose off. The hose clamp off and twist them. It comes right off. Next we're going to remove the battery so that way when we go to roll the wiring harness over, it gives us a little bit more room. So just pull the box off, take that wire off. On the back side, you're just going to take this 13mm bolt for the battery hold down. I guess it's a nut. Once you have that off, the strap just comes out and you can take the battery out. Once you have the battery out, you can just slide the tray up and out. You gotta take this plug out. The VVT solenoid. And there's also a sensor right here that you need to take out. All these plugs are just like the plugs that go in the coils. Just got to release the safety tab. Push the tab in. Once you push the safety tab in, you just pull them out. Next you want to remove this washer bottle and coolant reservoir. They're kind of one piece. And we just remove that 10mm bolt right there, and there's that 13mm bolt right there. There's also a 10mm bolt right there as well. Now that we got the bottles unbolted, we can lift them up, slide them back. The reason we're taking that out of the way is so we can disconnect the main wiring harness off of the computer. So to get this first harness out, you just push down on that tab. The whole assembly comes out. And down here on the AC line, we need to disconnect the wire for the pressure sensor. Like so. And on these plugs for to go into the computer, all you do is take a little head screwdriver, push up on that, push that tab in, and then the whole arm comes up. Where you pull it up, it disconnects the plug from the computer. And you kind of just need to wiggle it. Those have quite a bit of dirt and gum in them. Pull it like so. And you only need to take this first one and the second one off. The second one comes off the same exact way. Push up on the red tab. Push in to release, pull the lever up, shake them. They have a lot of dirt in them. Just pull out like so. Also on the harness, there's this plug right here. It's just like all the others. Pry the safety clip out of the way. Push down. Pulls apart. And I don't know if you can see, way down here on the oil filter housing is the oil pressure sensor. Let's see if I can get a better view of it. You can see my finger right there. That's where it is. Just a little tab on the top that you push and it pops off. And down below there's this plug also. That you need to take off. Sorry, it's a little hard to record it. See if I can get it one-handed here. Push up on that tab and then pull it off. I've already taken them off, but there's these two wiring harness clamps that just hold the wiring harness. You just need to take those off. I'm going to take these two relay boxes out. The top one is a 10mm nut that holds the bracket on. You just slide it out of the bracket on the bottom here, and then it comes out. And then this other one is just held on with a plastic clip. So you just want to get a tool to pry it up and out. That is the last of the wiring on this side of the truck. Also, along the way of pulling this harness out, you do have to slide that underneath the power steering pump, but there also is some clips like this. Just get a small screwdriver and you just pry up right there and they pop right out. So there are some that hold this wiring harness, so just keep an eye out for those and just pop them out as you go along. So next we're going to pull this plastic part out that holds the main wiring harness that goes across the valve cover. It is just held in with some plastic clips, so you're just going to get a clip popper, slide it in there, just slowly work those clips loose. Now that we got that cover, the wiring harness loose, like I said, this whole wiring harness, now you just come up and swing over here. I'm just going to leave it to the side for now, just like so. So I'm going to be evacuating the AC system. You technically don't have to do this. You could move the AC compressor out of the way. So if you have a machine, I would definitely recommend doing it. Just makes it that much easier. If you don't have a machine, you could pay someone to evacuate it and do the job and then take it back and have them charge it. But in my case, I have a machine, so we're going to go ahead and get going on evacuating the system. So cover. Recover it all and vacuum it all out. So the next thing we're going to do is right there, that AC line. Really hard to get a camera in there. There's a 13mm bolt that holds this AC line in. We're going to be taking that out, and then the line will come out. So like I said, we're just going to take that 13mm bolt that holds the line into the AC compressor. Once we get that out, take the line, pull it, and set it aside for now. Next we need to unhook the wiring for the alternator. So you're just going to push the tab out on this plug, pull it out, and that main signal wire, pop that off, take that nut off for the wire. It is a 13mm socket, nut, so break that loose. Wire off. Next, we're going to take this line off by just pushing down on the retainer, twisting it off out of the way. Next, we're going to take the fuel line off. Just need to pop the safety clip off like so. And next, we're going to take a blue fuel disconnect tool. Just going to put it on the line, push it in, and if you push in on the line, push it the rest of the way in, you can usually get these bad boys to come off pretty easy. But this one, a little bit of dirt in it. Disconnect that. Now we just need to disconnect these fuel line connectors. Just get that small pocket screwdriver. And it's so tight in here, but just put it in there. Pry them open. Like so. Sorry, my hands are in the way. It's really tight over here, but just need to take those two off. The other thing we need to do is there's this transmission dipstick tube. There's this 10mm nut right here holding it on. Take that off so that the dipstick tube can move more freely. That frees up the dipstick too. Next up, we need to take the serpentine belt off so we can get the power steering pump off. Just put the ratchet on the tensioner, loosen the tension, and the belt comes right off all the pulleys here. Just like so. Gotta remove this power steering pulley. There's 3 13mm bolts. You have to go in between the holes of the power steering pump pulley. Take those 3 bolts out. So you have those 3 bolts out. Power steering pump comes out, comes to the side like so. The next thing you want to do is take this plug off the AC compressor. It's located right under here. It just has a tab on both sides. Just use a little mini screwdriver, pop it out and pull that out. Next, for the AC wiring harness, you're going to undo those 3 clips that hold the wiring in. Next, you're going to want to take these bolts. There's one right here, and then tucked back behind here for these wires, 13mm bolts. I'm not going to show this part just because I can't hold the camera and take them out at the same time, but you'll take those 3 out. Next, we're going to loosen the hose clamp for the lower radiator hose. Mine has aftermarket hose clamp. Some of these have the original clamp on ones, so you'll just have to find which one and remove the lower radiator hose from the motor. Next, you want to remove the 10mm bolt right there, and then there's one back here on the bracket that you want to remove, and then there's one on the bottom also that we'll have to get once we lift the truck up. Like I said, this one's hard to see, but you can see my extension here to the left, and then it goes up in, and there's that wobbly right there that you can barely see. That's where the last bolt is for that bracket. So I need to take this 10mm bolt out for the oil dipstick. So this dipstick tube has proven to be a little tricky. The way I was able to get it is I took a flathead screwdriver, put it on the little ring, and actually just hit it out of there. It was stuck in there pretty good, but that's how I ended up getting it, get the dipstick tube out. You're also going to want to take that white plug to the left right here off, and then the signal wire and the main wire going to the starter off. You get it from the bottom. It's really hard to do while I'm holding a camera, so I'm going to disconnect those 3 things and I'll be right back. So we see those 2 13mm bolts right there. One's for a ground wire and the other one's for that white clear plug that goes to the knock sensor that I was just talking about. I'm going to take those 2 bolts out and just let the knock sensor hang and take that ground wire out. The only way I was able to get that knock sensor bolt and ground bolt was to take a ratchet and then take a wobbly and another wobbly and put it in there right through here, down and in, to get the right angle to be able to get those bolts out. Now we need to take the bolt out of that AC line up there. It's a 13mm bolt. So you're going to take a 13mm socket and take these two nuts off that hold the bracket for the trans-cooler lines on. So it's not as hard as I was making it. If you grab a screwdriver, pry the top out first, and you can pry the bottom off. Just put that to the side. Next step, we're going to be taking out the torque converter bolts. Since the starter's wedged way up in there, at least Chevy was nice enough to give us an axis port. As long as you have a good wrench, you should be able to get them out this way. So just pop this cover off. And the front crank bolt is a 24mm to be able to turn the crank. Then if we look up in here, we can see the torque converter bolts. So all you're gonna do is take 18mm wrench. These Matco ratcheting wrenches are amazing. They have a little bit of a extension to them, so that way we're able to get in there, because there is kind of a lip to this. So just gonna get on the torque converter bolt. Loosen them up. And that is what they look like. They're an 18mm. So I'm going to rotate them and take the rest out. We'll be right back. There is 3 torque converter bolts in total, so you just need to take the 3 out, and then we're ready to take the bell housing bolts out. Next, going to remove the bell housing bolts. They're 15mm. Wobblies are going to be your friend when taking these bolts out. You're also going to want to get a long extension to reach some of these harder to get ones. So all of them are taken out this left side, besides the very top one. Now we're going to take the ones out on the passenger side. One with the exhaust bracket's a little harder to get out just because it probably heats and cools down all the time. There's this one above. The dipstick 2 for the transmission. You can see these upper bolts on the bell housing are a little trickier to get. The right wobbling extensions. There's always a way to get them out, so. Since I wasn't able to show you this part, these 2 bolts are kind of a pain to get to. This one has a stud to it with a little plastic connector for the wiring harness. You just got to pop that off and use a deep socket with a wobbly. And then the other side you can just use a regular wobbly. It's just a regular nut. And those are on top with long extensions, and you can get them out. So now we're going to take the exhaust bolts out. This one's pretty rusty, so I'm going to heat them up with a torch. That'll make sure we can get them off nice and easy. And just 15 millimeter. Do that the rest with all the others and they should come right out. And there's just one on the top. You also want to take that bracket off. It goes right up in there on that stud end of the transmission bell housing. That way when you go to take the motor, the cat will come out. And you also need to take this sensor. I thought it was hooked to the transmission, but it's actually on the motor side. It's just like all the other plugs. You just undo the safety and then push it out. The next thing we're going to do is remove the 18mm bolt for the motor mount. On the driver's side, it's on the back side of by the transmission, and on the passenger side, you actually get it from the front of the truck. Just like so. Then, like I said, you get the passenger motor mount from the front. Like so. So the next step, you're going to want to remove the hood. It's just held on with some 13mm bolts, 4 of them in total, 2 on each side. And then I just got a tie down strap. I hooked to this front plate here to jack it out. And this probably isn't the best place, but there's really nothing on these motors to hook to on the back. So I took this clip out of the valve cover and put the hook in there. And now we should be ready to jack this baby out of here. Next, you gotta lower the differential. It hits on the oil pan here. So you just gotta take these 4 18mm bolts out. And I'm hoping if I just drop the whole differential down that I'll be able to squeeze the motor out. So that's what we're going to do next. Also, make sure you have something to support the differential while you're loosening these bolts. Let that differential come down. Just let it rest there. I think it being right there, it should give us enough room once we jack that motor up to come on out. So I got the motor separated right now. So now we just need to get it the rest of the way out. I forgot to take this back off the booster.
Well, you still need system.
We got a clear back there.
Huh? So are you in the motor?
No, I should. phone.
More?
This guy got his.
Yeah, it's a little easier, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, go jack it up a little bit. I'm gonna get past this.
Up?
Yeah, just slightly. Actually, maybe come back.
Yeah?
Stupid trans. Dipstick. There I go, Jack. What else do you think we'll find up to the gem of an engine? Hold on. Okay, go up with it. Okay. Hold up. Okay. Kids pretty honest.
I think we're hitting here on this hose.
Kind of leaving that hose better though.
I think it'll come out right there. It was just hung up right there on this lip. It's kind of a stinking thinking.
Come down with it because we're hitting.
Down low.
Let's twist it though.
Huh?
Let's just go and twist it. That's one.
What?
It's twisting.
Huh?
Got a no-tooth sensor. That's why.
Screwdriver. Your clips on the other side though, that's to undo that. You don't want to do those. You sure? It's not the clip on the back side?
No plug in it.
No, but you want the clip on this side.
What is that? Like that.
Yeah, that's
Go up with, let's see what we
go up. With this bolt kills.
a lot of things are going to kill us.
Good. Huh? Huh?
Gonna hit on the fly well. There.
This is
Hit it down. It's just calm.
huh?
Just calm. I should have told you to watch.
Put it down?
No.
Huh?
Do not pull back. That's what I was afraid.
They'll go. They'll come over. Here, you fall and I'll just tilt that. It'll come right over.
Able to show when taking it off. When I got it jacked up, I took this line off for that cooling fitting. I also unplugged this for the vent valve, and I also took this hose straight off the heater core. And then I also had to unplug this bottom O2 sensor that plugs in right here on this crossover pipe. And then I also had to take both motor mounts off of the block to get it so that it would come free. Takes a lot of finagling. Make sure you drop the diff because it won't come out. I tried to do it without dropping the diff first. Bad idea. Made it a bigger pain. And you'll definitely just have to squeeze it out. I also took the oil dipstick tube out and the trans dipstick tube out. It just made it easier when I was pulling it out. The oil dipstick tube is definitely a pain because it runs straight down in this bracket and it hangs up, so it has to come out to be able to get that motor out. So that's what I had to do to get this 3.7 liter motor out of this GMC, the Chevy Colorado is what this one is, but it's pretty similar for the Hummers, the Colorados, and the GMC Canyons. So now we're just gonna switch everything over from the old motor to the new motor and then set her back in. You pretty much follow the same steps putting it back in as you do taking it out. So if you have any questions while you're doing this, please leave me a comment in the comment section. I'd love to answer any of your questions. I'm not going to show the install just because it's just reverse of taking it out. Also, if you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. These videos take a lot of time to edit, and they take a lot of time because while you're doing the job, you've got to try to record and take the car apart, keep track of everything. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate any support. So have a great day. Thank you.